get up and get it together. Knew one day it would be better. No, I can't struggle forever. Plenty days I was in the past, man. I can't throw no stones up at a glass house. Yeah, from the bottom to the top, baby. Yeah, I can never stop, baby. Oh, they don't like me, oh, that cool. Tell them stop, hey. From the bottom to the top, baby. Bottom to the top, baby. Oh, they don't like me, oh, that cool. Tell them stop. I show you what hustle is. Yeah, make it to places you never did. Yeah, diamonds come from pressure. I've been shining since. Oh, I had to pick up the pieces. I couldn't settle with decent. I'm bringing sand to the beaches. I went through hell for a reason.
You are tuning in to Front of Bottom to the Top with your girl Princess with the Real. And y'all know I got a special guest on today. I got my blissful cocktails. But not only do I got blissful cocktails today, I got boozy based jello shots. You know, we getting all the way lit here on Front of Bottom to the Top. But before I get too lit, I want to get my guest story, and y'all already know how I feel. I don't do no small talk. I like to jump right on into it. So you go ahead and tell the people who you are.
I'm Chop Diesel. That's who I am.
Now, my first question is always, did you grow up in a single-parent household, or did you have both of your parents?
No, I had both of my parents.
Both of your parents?
Yeah.
Now, how was life growing up as a child?
It was pretty good. I had 5 siblings.
Okay. Y'all went fighting over stuff?
In the earlier part of life, yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was we kind of close in age, proximity in age. It's a lot. It was, like I said, 6 of us in total. Huh?
Y'all was doorsteps?
2, 3, 4 years apart. I'm the youngest.
Okay, you the youngest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you was spoiled?
Allegedly. Allegedly. That's what they say. I don't recall.
So you was the one everybody was mad at in the house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how were you in school?
I was really good in school up until I got to high school.
Okay, what happened?
I got freedom. I went to grammar school, and you know, you had to pretty much go to your classes, you watch, you monitor it. I got to high school, and they was like, oh, you can go from this class to that class to that, and nobody paying attention to you. So I just, you know.
So you ain't go to class?
I got a little loose. Yeah, I got loose.
What's a little loose?
Just a little bit. I mean, I got loose freshman year. What happened was I was supposed to go take a they had it where you either had to take a swimming test, and if you didn't pass the swimming test, you had to take swimming instead of physical ed. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't swim, so I didn't take the test, and I cut. And when I came outside for lunch, everybody was like, where you was at? I said, oh, I ain't go. I just went to the game room, and they was like, oh, you cut. I said, that's cutting? Oh, that's easy.
So you didn't know that was cutting, not going to class?
Nah.
What you thought you had did?
I just thought I ain't go to take the test. So I just was chilling. I had 2 lunch periods that day. And it was all downhill from there.
From there you kept cutting?
Yeah. See, my friends, I was hung out with a little bit older guys, and they was cutting, but they was trained. They've been cutting gym, shop stuff. I'm cutting English, algebra.
You cutting the real
history,
classes?
Yeah, but I didn't know. So, yeah.
And they ain't even tell you was cutting the wrong classes? They
did, but by then I got bit by the bug. It was too late.
What happened?
I had a minor academic setback. They put me back a little bit for my 9th grade. You know, I wilded out, and I had to do the 9th grade over.
And now, did that make you worse?
Nah, what happened was I started to, you know, I'm like I said, I was academically inclined in school. I was in gifted and talented, honors classes and all that. So I was smart. So I just figured out I'm going to outsmart them. Now I'm going to figure out a way to cut without getting caught and do my work, but just when I want to manipulate the system, I could just go.
Oh, you sneaky.
Yeah, I was nice with it. I was doing good. I had 3 years of it. I was doing perfectly good.
So for the next 3 years, you was working it out, and it was working?
It was working, but
I knew it was going to be a black.
My last year in school, it was the last year I was supposed to be in school. What happened was the state took over. So the rules changed. So you couldn't have a certain amount of unexcused absences when they took over. But by the time they took over, I had already had all of those absences. So I go to, you know, you come back from like you switch marking periods. I think I came back for like the 4th marking period. And I was in, I think a health class or something. And when they was doing the attendance, my name wasn't on it. So they was like, oh, you got to go to your guidance counselor or something, see what's going on. I go to my guidance counselor. They was like, oh, you off roll. They signed you out of school because you had too many days out of school.
Oh, wow. Now, how did you go home and explain that?
Terrified. I went home. I told my mother and my father. So my mother sends my father back to school with me to go get that boy back in school, fix it like normally he could just fix it, but it wasn't no fixing. So she sent him up there with me to get back in school. He got up there, started talking to them, and basically they said, well, look, he's going to be back behind 2 grades.
If you go back.
So, because he could finish this year out, we still won't promote him to the next year. We'll let him back in school, but he's still going to do this all over again. So he signed me out of school.
On his own, he said, forget it.
Yeah, but that didn't work out too well either. He came home, told my mother. She said, well, what happened? Oh, why? They said he ain't going to school, so I signed him out. You signed him out? She lost it. He was like, well, he ain't going, so what? And she was like, okay, well, you ain't going to school. I'm thinking it's over. I'm cool. I'm chilling.
You cool. You think?
She's like, either you going to work, you going back to school, or you getting out. I was like, wow, none of those I like. I'm going to figure it out. I'll figure it out. You know, so I figured it out. I went back to like it wasn't a GED program. It was like school. You had to go to school for part of the day and you worked the other part of the day. And so I did that, and that's how I got out of school. I got a regular diploma. I didn't get like a GED. I got a high school equivalency program, diploma part of that program where you had to go to school, you had to get credits and all that.
So now you grew up. Let me take my shoes off and get right to this.
Okay.
I feel like you grew up the spoiled one. So they
Allegedly.
say. Allegedly.
Yeah.
And now your other siblings, was they troublesome in school, or was it just you?
Well, okay. So the first 3 kind of coasted through, no problem. The next set, we was the ones. So it got worse each child. So it went from my brother Eric, my brother Greg, he's a pastor, so it worked out good for him.
Okay.
So my brother Eric, my brother Greg, then me. I challenged it all because you got to remember, as we getting older, my parents are getting older. So by the time I'm a teenager, they can't really.
You testing the boundaries
all the way, all the way.
Now, if you was testing the boundaries with school, I know you was testing the boundaries on other levels.
Nah, see, the one thing and I'm blessed to say this, I grew up. People watching, I'm from Jersey City.
Okay.
I grew up in Duncan Projects. It's one of the worst projects and places you can grow up in. But my household wasn't that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't have no siblings on drugs. My parents wasn't on nothing crazy, none of that stuff. We was brought up in church. We had structure.
Okay.
My father worked. He didn't beat my mother. He wasn't alcoholic. So it was
so
pretty normal
was good in the household.
Now, once you stepped out that door, everything was going on. But when you instill that in you, how we all instilled, we didn't really stray away from that.
Okay.
Even when I did crazy stuff or we did stuff, you always had that in the back of your head, like, my father will kill me. Because he literally said that. If you go to jail for selling drugs or stealing, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, and I'm definitely not getting you out. But if I do get you out, I'm going to kill you.
Okay. So you didn't stray away on that tip now.
I mean,
what about sneaking out and stuff? You was doing that?
What not? Like I said, because I was like, they didn't put the same type of pressures on. And I was a good kid overall. Like, I wasn't out there doing crazy stuff. I just was in the mix. And then early on, I started getting into music. I was rapping, so I was popular from that. And so I was in the mix. But and then doing that, I never really had to do things other people had to do to, like, prove who they were or how tough they was. Or they just knew me for playing basketball, really, and rapping. And that's it.
Okay, so how was you, like, with the ladies growing up?
When I was young, I was a punk. Let's just say I wasn't that swift with it, But as I started to get a little older in my teenage years and started to morph into a decent human being and looking normal and not looking crazy, and get a little swag and a little style with yourself, then it was, I was off to the races. But I had older brothers, so it was easier to pick up. My father wasn't somebody that kind of taught you. He just went to work and laid down the law. But I had siblings that's close in age, and they taught me, and I paid attention to stuff they did, watched them. And
so y'all was close?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you got a big family like that, sometimes you close only when something break down in the hood.
Nah. We was always close. And then just like I said, others are closer in age. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the ones that's closer. And what's weird though, my oldest brother and me were probably the closest as we got older.
Oh, wow.
As I started to grow up. When I was younger, because we was like at total opposite spectrums. He was older than everybody. I was younger than everybody. He was kind of doing his thing. I was doing my thing. So we kind of connected. He taught me a lot. He was more like growing up, he was like the things that people would probably want from their father. Not saying my
Okay.
father did things, but he wasn't like, they old school. They wasn't like sit you down, talk to you about this and do. They was like, do what I say and that's that.
That's what it is.
But my
yeah.
older brother more stepped in, was like, nah, you do this like that, don't do that. This how you, kind of gave me the rules.
And
My
now
father
how-
was an example. He was
How
more
old
so.
were you when you got into the music?
Whoa, like seriously. See, I've been rapping since I probably was like 12, well, younger than that, but rapping where people kind of knew me, I was maybe like 12 or 13, and then when I became like maybe 16 or 17, somebody took me to the studio. So then from there, it kind of went on to meeting people, having a demo, playing it for like rappers and local. They were celebrities, but they was from my neighborhood, stuff like that. And that I got the bug from there. It was over. Then,
But so what made you want to get into the rap?
well, like I said, when we was younger, rap came and that was our alternative. Before that, we had Michael Jackson with the Just Beat It and the Thriller jackets and Prince with his ass out and all that kind of stuff, which really didn't. The music resonated, but their look didn't resonate with us. But when rap came out and it was like they looked like us, you know what I mean? Even when I was younger, like I said, we grew up in the projects and they would bring out the sound system and speakers and they'd be rapping and DJing and all that stuff. And that was the music for me. That was like, that's what I want to do. I like that. Not to do it seriously, but I wanted to do that. I was like, hey, I could do that. I always wrote like poetry and stories and stuff. So I was like, I probably could do that. The earlier raps was like stories and messages and stuff like that. So I dabbled in it from there.
Okay, so from there, you started performing and stuff.
Yeah.
And what age was it when you started performing?
I would probably say maybe 18, 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you was out of school.
Yeah, I was definitely, I was doing like the local performing and battling and rapping like that, but like actually like an artist and performing music and videos and I was probably like, about 18, 19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to stop it there because, we done got through the childhood. I'm starting to get into, when them days when people start doing things outside of the household type stuff. We don't know what he getting into in this next stage of his life. So y'all go use the bathroom. Y'all do whatever y'all need to do and make sure y'all hear him get back because from the bottom to the top with your girl Princess with the Real, we'll be right back. We are back to From the Bottom to the Top with your girl Princess with the Real. And like I said, y'all go get y'all some blissful cocktails. Go ahead and get y'all some Boozy Bay. We got it out, we got sponsors on deck. And they got good drinks too, for real. But enough of the drinks out, back into the chop talk. Because I wanna get all up and through his business. We stopped at, he was 19, he was out here performing, doing stuff. So we're gonna jump right back on into it. So,
Clearly. We're going to jump right back into it. All right, let's go.
Now, was you performing back at home? What city was you in at the time?
I was in Jersey City back then. Yeah.
Okay.
I was still in Jersey City. We was performing in New York, Newark, locally right in that area.
Okay, so how was that like for you? That life?
Odd as it is, that's kind of how I transitioned out of being a rapper. I'm really not like a people person. So it's weird, I wanted to be a rapper and chase a dream, but it's like what comes with that, that wasn't me.
When did
quiet.
you realize that?
As I started doing it, like, you going places, like, we kind of had like we didn't have a hit record, but we had like, local independent, back then it was like, now everybody raps, so it don't count. Yeah. But back then it was like, you rapped, it mattered, you know what I mean? And then our videos, we had videos shot by like, at the time, this is before Hype Williams blew up. He was like virtually unknown. He had did some of my first videos. We won like local shows that was like popular there. So we were kind of like hood celebrities. So,
okay.
It was. So,
and being a hood celebrity, now all of the attention is coming. All the people trying
so
to
you
talk.
go in places, and it's weird. Even to this day, people walk up to me and they know me, and I don't know them. It's weird. Like, I'll be like, yeah, what up? And because you don't want to offend them. You don't, so you still be trying to be cordial. But it's a weird, because some people take it too far. Like they really know you. You're like, you don't know me. You're like, hey, what's up? Keep it moving. That's it. So yeah, that was really weird. So
what was the scene that happened that made you be like, what, rapping is not for me?
Well, I was able to transition because as a rapper, back then, it's not like now you can go online and get beats from YouTube and all that. So artists back then, we produced ourselves. We made our own music by default. You know what I mean? Your DJ or you or what have you. So I started to get into producing, and I started to love that a lot more because it didn't require. I could be in the studio. I could make beats. I could do it for other people. I didn't have to be on Front Street. I could be kind of in the background, still do what I love doing, still be a part of the music, and not have to deal with all of that that comes with it.
So was there anybody in your life like trying to push you to still rap?
I mean, for years they still. I was fairly good at it, so I think a lot of people was like, "Nah, keep doing it." But I enjoy producing more, to be honest.
Okay.
I could be more creative. As a rapper, it's certain things that you can rap about depending on who you are, your character, your personality, all that. So it was too many limitations. As a producer, I could produce for an R&B act, I could produce for a rapper, I could produce for a reggae art, anything. It was not, I wasn't limited. So my creativity, I could be as creative as possible, do whatever I wanted to do. As a rapper, I was kind of in a mold. I only really had one sound, one style. I could only do certain things. And this is years ago. So now you got Drake, where you could rap, sing, tap dance, sing whatever you want to do.
Back then they put you in a box.
Yeah, you had to either be this or that. So, and I did that good, but I don't think I would have been like a, all around like a Drake type rapper where I could sing, rap, and do all that. So.
But so how you paid for all of this stuff?
What do you mean?
What was you doing? What was your job?
I mean, back then, I had regular jobs. I mean, I've been a barber since I was like 16 years old, 15 years old. So between the money, little money we was making from the shows and stuff, and we also pooled together. We had a little crew, so we put our money together. And in the beginning, we had some people put up money, from the streets.
Okay. Yeah.
but I never liked that because, I didn't want that over my head. I didn't want people saying they did this or, that kind of stuff. So we always just pooled our money together and did it ourselves. And then eventually, as we start getting older, we got more jobs that kind of could make more money. And as a barber, I made, pretty decent money. So we all chipped in, me, my other partners, and got our own studio equipment and all that. And then that's when I really fell in love with producing because then I had like the equipment that everybody had to really do it professionally. So I was like, you couldn't stop me. Then I was like, I love this. And I started really focusing more on that.
And now how did your city resonate that you being a producer opposed to you being a rapper?
I mean, it was the best of both worlds because they already knew me from rapping. So my clients, they trusted me already. So it's like they come into my studio, they getting beats from me. They already was kind of, I didn't have to come in like, I'm a producer now, locally. But within the industry or certain people I knew on that side, it was a hard transition to switch over because they knew me as the rapper. And back then, rappers didn't make beats. So, so automatically you rapping, you got to either do one or the other. You can't be good at both. We know you can rap, but you don't know how to make beats. Stop. So
what did you do to overcome all of that?
I had a situation. I'll leave the company nameless. People from Jersey would know who this company is and know the people is. But I worked with them for years. I did a lot of stuff with them, and I submitted some beats as a producer, and they kept turning the beats down over and over. I knew the beats were good, but they were turning them down because the perception of me was Chopper the rapper. So the guy that worked there, we was cool, and he was like, you know what? Now I'm about to date myself. The beats was on a tape, a cassette. So he said, don't put your name on the cassette. Come up with a name for like your production team and put that on the tape. And then give me the tape. I'm gonna go in the meetings and play it. When he went in and played it, this is crazy to me, because they didn't know it was me. Literally, somebody walked up to me. I was at my job cutting hair. I came out to go eat lunch, and somebody that worked down there was like, "Yo, so and so played me some music from these guys. Yo, you gotta hear these beats. Yo, they crazy." Like, I'm sitting there like, yeah. And then she said the name, and it was the Dream Team, which was our production name. I said, "Oh, word." They set up a meeting for the Dream Team to come down there and meet with them. I come in the office. I'm sitting in there. They like, they were so used to me. I was in a conference room. They was like, yo, you got to leave because we can have a meeting. I'm like, yeah, all right. With who? They like, oh, we having a meeting with, okay, cool. That's me. And literally that was the spark of that with them. But if you're from Jersey, and if you think of who's the company, the rapper from Jersey who has a company that produced artists and put out music, then
So when it was just your name on it, you kept getting shot down. But
it was no name. It wasn't no presentation. It was just, there comes some beats from Chop. It was just that. And it was like, and again, I just think because they were, not like they was hating on me or they didn't want to think out. I just think in their minds, they saw me one way.
Yeah.
that was that.
It's like, well, who this is trying to switch up now? We like him doing what he was doing.
Yeah, like you rap. Like I said, literally, it was now. Like even if you think of producers who rap, most of the greatest producers back then had people write for them. They weren't great rappers.
Yeah.
They were great producers. But back then, I was a good rapper, so they didn't think that you could be a good rapper and make good beats.
Now, what made you leave home?
Oh, leave home? See, this is a weird story, right? So I was dating my kid's mother. I'm married now. I got a wife now. But I was dating my kid's mother. And at the time, we was. It's gonna sound messed up, but it's a fact. We was going to the hotel every weekend and chilling, and I'm like, man, the money I'm spending going to the hotel, I might as well just get an apartment.
Okay.
And we got an apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Here?
No. This was still in New Jersey. Yeah.
So you was getting a hotel all the time. You just said, I'm just going to move out and stay with her.
No. Not stay with her, but it was like we every weekend we hanging out, we chilling, we go in a hotel. If you think about this, you go to a hotel for 2 days every weekend.
You spending too much money in the hotel.
That's rent money.
Yeah, that's rent money.
So I said, yeah, we need to maybe because at that time, to be honest, again, I was spoiled. I'm the youngest. My parents didn't push me out. At that time, I was the only one living there with them. Okay. I had my own room. I had my own set of rules. They didn't stress me. I mean, I couldn't do crazy stuff, but they didn't bother me. I didn't bother them. And like I said, ultimately, I was a good kid. So I never really caused them too much issues and too much trouble. So they allowed me to just do me. But that was like it. I was like, it's crazy to say, but I mean, at the end of the day, I really wanted to move out.
So you ain't got the place because you was tired of spending up for the hotel rooms. Now, how did this go with you and her?
How what?
How long did y'all last?
Oh no, we was together for a good amount of
For a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Everything was smooth.
Nah. I mean, I think we're definitely better now than we was then. But we out of that, we had 2 kids. We were together for I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years, something like that. We had kids. We got separated from living together. We still co-parenting was around.
Did she support your career and everything that you was doing?
Weird.
And I know y'all cool now, but you got to say what happened then.
I won't say she didn't support it. I think, people who are regular 9-to-5ers don't really understand it. But at the same token, there was things that that I learned in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? That she had valid points about. And what I didn't do, and I'll tell this to anybody that's chasing a dream, right? You still have to maintain your regular everyday life while you chase your dream. You got to have a job. You got to have some source of income to maintain and be stable to do whatever it is you're doing while you're chasing your dream. And I think at certain points in times, that was something that she was not with. Like, okay, you're going to do that, but we still got bills. You still got kids. You can't just, invest all of that into that. So I think that was a thing for me and her. And then after we had kids, I think we started to notice how different we were and how we parent or things, how we were brought up and, all that kind of stuff. But, at the end of the day.
So now how was that separation? Was it difficult? Was it crazy?
No.
No?
No, I mean, it was just, she moved out.
Just as quick as y'all decided to get the place, you decided y'all decided.
No, it was over time. I mean, it was over time.
Over time, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, y'all got the place. It was like, oh, okay, we're going to go ahead and get a place because we're tired of paying for the hotel. So when y'all broke up, y'all was
that sounds bad. Don't repeat that again. Undo that. That sounds bad.
Look, I was spending too much money in the hotel, so
allegedly.
That was allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So now we finna get a place.
Yeah.
So now 7 years later, y'all was just like, you know what, this ain't working, so we just gonna separate.
Yeah, I think it was for the good. You know what I'm saying? I think we needed to, we're better apart. We're obviously, I actually better, cool. It took time. It took years to get to where we at now. Okay. This is years ago. Like years. It took years to get where we at, even after the separation.
So after y'all separated, it was tension.
It was never really smooth.
Okay.
It took years to get to this point.
And now with that, because y'all had kids together, y'all separated, y'all living separate, you trying to do your thing, she trying to do your thing, her thing. How was that for you?
I mean, it was cool. It was just, like I said, I think I made it more difficult. Like I said, in her defense, I definitely made things more difficult by not prioritizing things the way that I needed to. So I understand as I got, older and more mature and experienced more life, I understood her points. Her points were valid, but I do think we were just different people, though. I don't think we were gonna work out either way anyway. But out of it, we had 2 kids. I love both my kids, and I love the situation that came out of it. It's beautiful.
But did that affect you, like as far as you spending time with your children?
Nah. She
anything
never
like
was.
that?
Nah, it was.
She ain't that type of woman.
Nah, it was
That's
never
good.
that. It was,
That's
it
good.
was never that kind
You
of
know,
war.
because it's a lot of women like that.
Nah, it was never that kind of war. You know, if anything, she's on. Look, you coming to get them.
Okay.
I'm about to go. You ain't about to be free, nigga. You know. They came, even when I moved down here years later, they came and lived with me, like, and that's when I noticed, you know, I had a whole new respect for single mothers at that point, because when I had my kids with me, especially as a single man with 2 girls, they were living with me. They was at an age where, you know, I mean, they can go to the bathroom, do stuff like that by themselves, but, you know, it was a lot of things I couldn't do. You know, I couldn't just get up and go. That's when I started to realize what type of stress that you under as a single mother, like, I could literally just get up, go do whatever I want because no kids is there. When you separate instantly, that's how it goes. The kids go with the woman and the man go do what he do. And I never really looked at that you can't just get up. If I wanted to get up in the middle of the night, go to the store, I can't. Now these kids is here. Now I understood what she went through. I need a break. When she would say stuff like that, I'm like, you don't need a break from what? They go to school during the day and boom. Nah, it's 24/7. You don't have, and I had that luxury. So that I started to realize, and that definitely probably weighed a lot on our situation, because I had the freedom to be able to go and come and be in other relationships and do stuff. You know what I mean? But once I became mature enough to really understand it, identify with that, and let her know, I gotta, I get it. You know what I mean? And from there, that kind of helped us get definitely a lot smoother.
Now, what made you move to Atlanta?
When I was doing music, like I said, I kind of transitioned over to doing the production, and I started coming out here working as a producer, working in the industry. And when I came here, I was like, I love it.
Okay. So look, I'm gonna stop him there. We're finna get into his story here in Atlanta. Working on this music. He's a father at this time. We're gonna get into where he is now in life, where he intends to go, and he gonna leave y'all with something. So y'all go use the bathroom, like I said. Get back to your couch, your floor, wherever it may be, and make sure you tune in to Front to Bottom to the Top with your girl Princess with the Real. We're back. From the bottom to the top with your girl Princess with the Real, and I'm jumping right back on into it. I ain't even gonna tell y'all about the drinks because y'all already know we got Boozy Bay and we got Blissful Cocktails. Now back to you, Chop.
Whoa. Caller, you say what?
Look, you can keep drinking because it's finna get a little deeper. You in the ATL now.
Yeah.
You done left home. Yeah. You done branched out. Who you know here?
Who did I know here when I came here?
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, I didn't know nobody. I moved down here with 2 of my partners. We came down here doing real estate, and I didn't even come down here doing music. I had already kind of not fell back from the music, so to speak, but I was just kind of exhausted through all the ups and downs and all the stuff. Like, we had a lot of success in like 99 to about 2004, 5. So it started to dwindle down, get slower around 2006, 7, and some things happened at that point that I just was like, man, I had been traveling, coming back to Atlanta, and I liked it when I was down here. So I was like, maybe I'll take a shot there. The real estate market, to my knowledge, I thought was popping down here, and I needed to come get in it. But I got in right as it was starting to
decline.
Yeah, so I got in. I did 2 little real estate deals, which was cool. But that I came out in 07, and I had a. I ain't gonna say I had I'm gonna say I have a plan. I had a bunch of ideas. I didn't have a foolproof plan, so I came down. I did. It didn't really work out. I had gotten to a relationship that wasn't really what I needed at the time, and then so I said, let me go back. I got offered some work, so I went back to New Jersey and to recalibrate, get stuff going, and kind of get back to my, my essence, so I can come back. And now I know what's here, and I know how to plan for it, and I know how to do it. And then I came back down in 2010. I went back to New Jersey. I started like an internet radio station, opened the studio back up. I just got back, getting back going so I could have a, momentum. So when I came here, it wouldn't just be starting completely from scratch. Yeah. So
when you came back with a plan. What was that plan?
Well, by then I kind of had I wanted an entertainment company. I wanted to, I was back to producing again. I was wholeheartedly back into the music. I was trying to help artists, put artists on, produce artists, put out independent acts, stuff like that. So I was wholeheartedly back into music again.
Back into music.
Yeah.
So now you back in Atlanta, you back into music. Talk about, you know, your transition because you got your daughters. So you talk about that transition in the city of Atlanta, still having to maintain the household, you know.
Well, when I came back, no, this 2 different times. So when my kids came and lived with me, that was like, that's like we kind of moved around a little different with what I was talking about earlier. But I came here in 2010. I got them later on, and they came down, and then they went back, and then when they got to high school, they came back to stay with me.
Okay,
you know what I mean? But so when I came in 2010, I had enough time again to like
to do your stuff,
do my thing, get acclimated, meet people again, you know, start building a, you know, as I call it, building an empire and getting everything together. I started, you know, like I said, I knew like maybe 2 or 3 people by then when I came back.
Did you have your money stacked up when you came back?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant.
Okay.
When I went back, that's what I said.
You went back to get the money.
I had because I knew how to do it there. I didn't know here because I came here trying to do the real estate. And all my money was tied into that situation. So when I did finally get out of it, I had money, but it wasn't no money to really live. So I said, I'm gonna have to go back to New Jersey, do what I need to do. That's why when they offered me work to go back there to work in the studio and work with artists, I said, okay, I'm gonna go do this because this is gonna, get my bank back. But I gotta build something with it that makes sense and then come back here. And when I came here, like I said, when I first came, then I was on real estate. I wasn't on music when I came in 07. So
when you came back in 2010.
Yeah, I was ready for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I had a couple dollars. I had made, some ties, some connections. I was up and more into the music. Like when I came, before I told you I came for real estate, not really music. I just stumbled on music because of where I moved to. I moved in Atlanta and moved in Midtown. I was down the street from all the studios. What's the name? Somebody used to live in my building. I was an artist. Lloyd lived in my building. Akon used to mess with a girl in my, like, it was so much going on. I was like, and then they start telling me, oh yeah, Stuart Patchwork right there. This is right there. And I got right back into the music. But I was still like 1 foot in, 1 foot still trying to do the real estate. Wasn't really wholehearted. But when I came in 2010, I was all entertainment, music, whatever it's gonna be. I'm in it. I'm with it.
So did you open up your studio at that time?
When I came in, and by 2011, I opened a little decent studio.
Okay.
Over for what street is that? Behind Peter Street, Walker Street. I had a nice little spot. I had some artists I had brought down there from Ohio. We was working, doing stuff. At that time, shooting videos, putting out songs and stuff like that. So I was just getting things, and I had multiple studios since then, like.
And so talk about a little bit, your career and your life here in Atlanta.
Well, in Atlanta, what like I said, I started to meet people, make connections, tie into things, and then a lot of people from back in New York and from the era I came from started moving down here, and then this is like everything is 6 degrees of separation. Everybody kind of tied in through each other, so I just started making connections and tying stuff in, and with having a studio and producing, you meeting the who's who. I still have relationships with some of the industry people, so that was going on. But what I started to get tired of was I do love the music, but the industry side of it, the politics, the BS, I started to kind of not really like, and I said I need to figure out a niche and a lane that would be more, more just make more sense and more beneficial to what my overall goals were. And at that point, the game started to change, the technology in the game, the way artists was being promoted and marketed and all of that. Social media became big. So then I was like, I want to just focus on independent artists. I don't really care about, like I told you, I had pretty decent success. I produced for like Nas, LL Cool J, Diddy, K Slay, A. Marie, Dave Hollister, all of that stuff when I was, so I had reached, in my opinion, the height of working with a lot of people. So I wasn't really tripping off that no more. I didn't get anything out of that anymore. I wanted to take artists from ground zero and then do that. You know what I'm saying?
But what made you just be like, because most people want to work with the big names and don't want to be like, because the ground zero, those people you got to put in work. Because the politics
of it. But as a producer, every producer that you know, that you wouldn't even know, just as a casual listener of music, all of those people had artists. If you say Dr. Dre had Snoop, NWA, Eazy-E. They made artists that you didn't know of before they came. Yeah. Timbaland, Missy, Leah was known, but he kind of brought her to another height. Genuine, all the producers who we look at and revere, they had somebody to kind of showcase what they were able to do, and they took somebody from 0 to 100. And that's the only way you can really establish yourself as a true producer anyway. So I was looking at that, and then I just didn't like how the game was set up, and I had been taken advantage of within the game and went through different things, and I just wanted to help people that I felt like didn't have the information or didn't have the resources or didn't have the relationships. I felt like that was what my calling was too, because then at some point I started to lose interest in like the I wasn't hungry to make music. I was more hungry about the business of it and trying to teach and help people who were still hungry and passionate, but I could guide them and help them. You know what I mean? So then that's when I started to deal with a lot more independent artists, independent producers. And that's truly where the true talent it lies anyway. The untapped talent is there. It's not once people get millions of dollars, they're not hungry. You at the studio before they get there. They coming in 3 hours late, entourage, they high, they doing. I'm not dealing with all that.
So what is it like dealing with the indie artists? Talk about, you working with these indie artists, the things that you do to help develop them, and, talk about, some of the accolades that you feel like you got from working with certain artists.
I think one of the things that I pride myself on is because I'm from an era where talent, true A&Ring, true management, true development existed. I try to always instill that in any artist I'm with. Like, I work with Alexis Renee. I work with an artist named PB Rio right now. I work with some other people as well. And what I try to instill and bring to them is they have talent. They have, what's going on now, the modern things and the vibe. But it's like, even if you look at some of these artists right now that's on top of the game, they all have people who've been in the industry for years behind them, guiding them, helping navigate their career. Because without that experience, you can't get anywhere. Yeah. You need people who know what they're doing. You need a team, you need an infrastructure of people who've been there, done it, can see it before it happens. As a new artist, untapped with just talent, you can't see that. You're not going to understand it. I can sit in a room with somebody, we'll all be in there, they looking at whatever's on the surface. I can see past everything he's saying, what they talking about, everything. Not like I'm a psychic, it's just, I've been there, I experienced it. Just like having with a child, telling them, yo, don't do this because this is going to happen. It's the same thing with this. Not like calling them children, but it's the same thing. It's the same principle. You know what I mean? So that's kind of been my thing. And with that, we've done some decent things. We work with a lot of different people. We got songs on films and television. We've, got good numbers on social media, good numbers on YouTube, different things of that nature, and just really building distribution deals, all kinds of things. So
what's the next step for Chop?
What I ultimately want to have is a full service company that provides that, like basically almost like a artist development company. A lot of people out here have those allegedly, but I really want to, I want to teach artists how to remain independent, have ownership, not be so thirsty to give away, their ownership for a couple dollars up front, and really just teaching them and letting them understand how the game really works and how you can really do it yourself. With a team. When I say yourself, meaning you don't have to partner with some gigantic major and give up all kinds of percentages just to be able to put out your music or just to have success. I think everybody's looking to be Drake, instantly. But, I have a theory, and I always say this to people, like, if you can get, like, the average person having a job, like, say you're an artist and you work regular and you do whatever, you might make $3,000-$4,000 a month, maybe, working your regular job. You could make $10,000 doing music a month as an independent artist. 10,000 times 12 months is $120,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's good. I just think everybody's looking to be major successful, but I think if you continue at that, you can get there. But, it's not difficult. You just have to base it on, looking at it from a different perspective. For me, I think artists always looking to have 1 million people. You only need 100 people to give you $100 a month, and that's $10,000 a month. You understand what I'm saying?
When you break it down like that.
That's how simple, but that's really how simple the math is. And when you deal with just numbers and math and understanding, because that's what the labels do. They don't look at these individual artists as, certain artists they do, obviously, they're marquee artists, but all of these other guys they sign, they're just there to meet a quota of a set amount of numbers that they need to pull together. So if you look at it from the same perspective, it'll be the same way. So independent artists, you telling me if you're not good enough to tap into 100 people to like you and rock with you, you shouldn't be doing music anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not difficult. 100 people and get them to tap into you and, support you with $100 a month, whether you giving, exclusive content, whether it's putting out constant projects, whether it's merch, whatever it is. Who can't stand $10,000 a month?
Like who?
You feel me? So I push that, but I think it's almost like you have to reprogram them in the way that they think and understand, because they've been bombarded with all this BS on how things work and how things supposed to be, and everybody got to have $1 million and everybody need a chain and everybody need millions. It's not about none of that. You know what I'm saying? You can consistently make money off of this and make a living off of what you love doing. You're not having to go to a 9 to 5 or be at somebody's discretion and telling you when and what to do, and love what you're doing and make a living out of it. So that's really what we're pushing for. And I ultimately want to have a full service company that can help provide that, fully staffed with a bunch of people who've had the same type of experience and know even more than I know, and bring it in and have artists up under there and teach them to partner with people, not sign record deals and not sign to production companies and sign to artists who are still active artists. How the hell he gonna do something for you?
Yeah,
He's still doing him. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's
I like that, because the thing is what you ultimately want to do is not just for you.
Yeah.
It's really the service to people. Because
I figured out, like, people always say, oh, well, what's your purpose? And all. Once you figure your purpose out, everything else is smooth in life. And I think for me, I chased the dream of wanting to be this big rapper, being a big producer. And when I really figured out what I want to do is I just want to be a vessel and help people. I'm not concerned with the money and again, I want to get paid for my services and my time. But I'm not concerned. I don't want to be a billionaire. I'm not tripping off that. If I can help somebody else be a billionaire and know I have a support system and a team of people that if I ever need to do an investment or do a deal, I have these resources and people around me, I'm cool with that. I don't need to have $1 billion in my bank account.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And so with all of that being said, like, first of all, you already said a lot of stuff that was inspiring and motivating. But I always like my guests to get something from you. So lead them, if you had to lead the people with something to inspire them, what you gonna leave them with?
What am I gonna leave them with? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, again, find your purpose, number one. And, once you tap into your purpose and figure out who you are and what you are, figure out a way to monetize that and make a living out of that and make a career out of something that you love doing. That way, you'll never not want to get up and go to work. You'll never not want to get up and do things for people. It's because you don't like what you're doing. You don't like your life. You don't like what you chose as a career path. That's why most people don't want to get up and go to work or do what it is. So ultimately, find your purpose, lock in on that, and like I said, figure out a way to monetize that. And then, you can work for yourself. You can do what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Rest is history. I agree. Y'all listen to this, like, for real, because I'm one of the people who get up and don't really like my job, but I do it. It helped pay for my side hustle. But this is, like, words to listen to, like, for real. You got to find what really works for you and go after what you want in life, for real. And with that being said, you finding what for you going for what you want in life. And it's a lot of artists out here looking for people to help them to get where they need to be. So tell look.
Whoa.
Look, I took it too far.
Yeah, whoa. Yeah, okay, yeah. I hear you. What's up?
So tell them where they can find you at, how they can connect with you, and see if you can help them.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm on Instagram. More easily to contact me is at It's Chop Diesel. ITSCHOPDIESEL. Or you can hit me on at 3 K Empire on Instagram. Either one of those two.
Okay. Look, y'all, if y'all looking for somebody who can help, your career, but you got to be willing to help yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put in the time. You got to put in whatever money it may require.
Yes.
You can't expect everything to come at you. But he's one of these people who is out here developing artists. And I know some artists that he developed, and they fi-fi. I try to learn every track they drop. So when I tell you, he know what he doing, and this man got a story. So make sure y'all continue to tune in to everything he got coming in life, because he got some more coming. This is just the beginning with him here. I plan on having him back in about 5 years to tell that next story of where he at once he in the mansions and stuff. He don't want the millions, but he gonna be in the mansion. Somebody gonna buy it for him.
I take some millions. I just don't want no billions. I take some millions. I'm scared of the billions. Your soul gets snatched for the billions. I'm cool on that.
Yeah, so we don't want soul snatch. We don't want none of that. But y'all tune in to him and see everything that he's got coming in life. Make sure y'all go follow him on his platforms. Make sure you keep tuning in to Front About It to the Top with your girl Princess with the Real, because I'm going to keep bringing you amazing stories. I'm going to keep sitting down getting all up in people's business. And we're going to keep drinking. Like I said, we got Boozy Bay, Jello shots, and we also got blissfully drunk cocktails, baby. We drink on set because I want them to get the talking. And he talk today, baby. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, I done been down before. I had to get up and get it together. Knew one day it would be better.